All right, guys, welcome to the Mad Maker Show. My name is Eloy, and we're going to be doing a little interview here in just a few seconds with a maker all the way from the UK, Al's Hack Shack. Before we get to him, I want to mention a couple of things. We have a website here, themadmakershow.com. So go there to check it out. Just checking it out helps us, supports us. On the website, you could find out about previous interviews we've had. And a couple of people I want to shout out is Woodcrafted. Thank you, Woodcrafted, Brian McKnight. I'm going to link him a little bit later there if you guys go check him out. That's formerly known as Woodworker 631. Brian McKnight. 631 Brian McKnight. Thank you for your support, dude. I appreciate it over on Patreon. And I wanted to also shout out Randall Ray. And he's actually, it's cool because the other day on Facebook, I ran across the guy that did a lit up, backlit Florida State wall hanging with LEDs and all that. And I was like, oh, Florida. And I went and investigated. The dude lives on the West Coast here. So I want to give him a shout out. So go check him out. I'll link all that down in the chat. And so that's about it for me. Our co-host, moderator, partner in crime, JP Woodworks.
Well, hello. Unfortunately, I couldn't get my my Hangout toolbox to work today, so I haven't got my fancy little logos up the side there, so I can't do no pointing today, so I'll just have to tell you. My website is jp-woodwork.com, so all my links and all that lot will be there. I am 1/5 of the Makers International podcast. So yeah, my YouTube channel is JP Woodwork. I'll release a video today on this little mini goblet made from apple wood sent to me by Carl and Robin Jacobson. So yeah, you can go and check that out. That's live now. About the podcast, we are still doing the giveaway where you can get your hands on a Heath Knuckles blank and a tub of Yorkshire grit for one lucky winner. That ends January 27th. We will release the winner's name on the show of the 28th, where we will be interviewing Miss Holly Denny. So yeah, we've also got over 1,000 entries for that so far, so that's absolutely brilliant. I want to also give a cyber award of bravery at the moment, and I actually want to give that to Al, because how the hell can he walk around with that haircut?
This is fresh, man. This is what all the kids are doing this, right, Eloy?
It kind of reminds me of a 90s Euro 96 Paul Gascoigne. So yeah, back to you, Eloy.
All right. For those of you guys that are joining us for the first time, and you guys that have been around and taken the journey with us, interviewing all these mad makers, I just want to mention for the new people that are visiting. So we call this the Mad Maker Show because we're interested in exploring people that, generally speaking, for most people out there, the vast population, they might consider these people that create things. Well, they might like, right, very much their creations, painters and drawers and musicians and woodworkers, people that work with electronics. They might, on the surface, oh, well, that's a cool thing. But then they find out that, wow, these people have slightly skewed, they're slightly mad, right? They don't fit the normal mold that one would expect, right? The crowds are going this way and they're zigzagging. And that's a lot of you guys out there too. And it's true. That's why you're here, because we're all insane. That's the truth. And again, I mentioned to newcomers, we're not talking about insane mad like axe murders and like, no. We're talking more like, just slightly kooky. Although some of them, you have heard of people hacking off ears and Al's hack. But we'll figure that on the side of safety, for the most part, it's people that are creative and they are slightly eccentric, slightly following their own path. And by the way, those are the best people in the world for my taste, because you learn a lot and you're traveling roads you've never known before. So that's the gist of what we do here. So again, you could check out, to help us out, themadmakershow.com. Just visiting or even sharing. Well, heck, that would be awesome. So Al's Hack Shack, Alex Halfpenny, dude, I'll tell you. First off, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Well, dude, for a moment there, we were, so after watching your videos and your insanity, right? We said he's either gone off in some crazy adventure, fallen asleep, or without internet. Which one was it?
There's a little bit of all three. There was there's a little bit of whiskey earlier, and I was just having like a power snooze just to get through it, get ready for the show.
You've got to stay hydrated.
That's it. You got to stay hydrated, man. Hey, I was kind of on time.
No, actually, we're right on time. We just figure, like, we always have like a 10-minute to 15-minute prior, thing, and we're like, oh goodness, now what? So JP and I were sitting there and we were thinking, okay, so we're gonna do some sort of live. What was it that we were calling it, JP? What was the idea?
I think it was kind of an open it up to everybody.
Yeah, and I was thinking
it truly would be a Mad Maker show then, I think.
So, Al, so we're all going to learn a little bit more about you. You're new to YouTube. New is relative, but a lot of these cats out there and gals have been, around for quite a while on the YouTubes, and of course behind the scenes, people have been doing it for years and whatever. So, we want to get to know a little bit about you. We'll start off with, where do you live, and give us where do you live?
I live in the north of England in a city called Leeds. I've been there for a couple of years now, but I'm
go against him.
I'm originally from the Lake District, which is a beautiful kind of really rural part of England. Not a lot going on for a young kid, and it was just more about kind of like the outdoors and really kind of nice natural place to grow up. But as I say, there wasn't really much entertainment. So looking back now, it's a beautiful place to live. But when you're a kid and you want some stimulation and you want something to keep you out of trouble, there was very little of that. So there was lots of trouble when we were a kid, but not so much in terms of kind of things to do. So I'm a country bumpkin, and this kind of big city living for me is a strange one, but I'm getting used to it.
Yeah, I've noticed in your videos you have houses here and houses there, and your madness is created right in the middle.
I really need to like insulate the hack shack, because I'm worried of like the noises that I make in there. People are going to start getting really suspicious. So it's not for the cold or the weather or anything. It's just more for like not scaring my neighbors.
Right. So we'll start with this. So why did you decide to start a YouTube channel, and just give us a little bit of that? Why? What was the thinking? Was it sporadic or what?
Like this whole YouTube thing, I really wish that I'd found out about it earlier. The whole makers thing on YouTube. I thought YouTube was for sort of like cheesy music videos and cat videos. And then I stumbled across a Jimmy DeResta making a spoon one day years ago, and I was just mesmerized. I was like, "This is how you make a spoon. You're allowed to just make stuff." And it was amazing, and I was hooked from then on. And I started getting into like guys making electronics, guys doing woodworking, all sorts of videos.
Yeah, dude. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go on. No, and then I stumbled across our very own JP's friend Joe, the Average Joe, and I just kind of saw what he was doing, and I kind of related to him, because he was just literally just the everyday Joe. He was this guy that I saw in myself, and I recognized this just normal guy. He wasn't a superstar. He wasn't this guy from New York that I couldn't relate to. He was just this down to earth bloke, and he was in his back garden making stuff. And I thought, this is amazing. You know, maybe there's a way for me to do something similar.
That's awesome, dude. I have to admit the same darn thing happened to me coming across one of Jimmy DeResta's videos. I was fixing up the house I grew up in, which is right behind me across the way, prepping it for rental. And so I was on YouTube and I saw this guy. The thing is, I was on YouTube and I saw this guy not doing things necessarily for repairs, or at least the video I came across. It was artistic. It was creative. It was that sort of, cinematic type, and he wouldn't talk. And I was like, wow, well, I'd like that, a lot, because it brings the whole tools, the world of tools and repairs and all that into a artistic level, which I had not even thought about, to be honest with you. I had not thought of. And I said, oh, well, yeah, I could dig that. So same story. Did that happen to you? You said, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea. So like, I've never made a movie before. I've never filmed myself before. I've never been into like sort of acting or, expressing myself and showing myself off like this before. I'm a bit of an introvert. It's really weird. I think the more of you guys that I meet, I find that we're all really confident and expressive, but actually sometimes, in the real world, we're quite introverted, which is this really weird conflict. And as I say, I'd never made a film before, and I just thought, right, I'm just going to put myself out there. I'm just going to be as honest as I can. I'm not going to try and be someone that I'm not. I'm just going to. This show is going to be about me. So my channel it's about me. It's not about woodworking. It's not about crafting. I'm not trying to do how-to videos or anything like that. I'm just putting myself out there and seeing if people like it.
That's great, dude. I'll tell you what, that initial spark that you. This is my opinion, right? I mean, I could be wrong. Heck, what do I know? But that initial spark of saying, well, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it my way, and I'm going to do it, with inspiration and that initial spark, I think, is so darn important, dude. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, looking at your videos, you have a lot of. And by the way, I see these things and like I can perceive these things. I see a lot of popular culture, not necessarily outright. Well, the Wolverine thing, which we'll get to in a second, but in general, I see a lot of these themes that are not obvious, but below things that one might see, transitions one might see in movies or TVs and stuff, and you sort of it seems to me that you internalized it. And it comes out in your skits within your videos. Is there any truth to that, or you don't think about that?
You've nailed it, man. You hit the nail on the head. That's totally what I'm into. Like it's not that I'm trying to do parodies all the time or rip stuff off. It's just that is the influence to me, like popular culture, whether it's really tacky movies from the 80s or TV shows that nobody's watched, or computer games, anything like that kind of has influenced me growing up. Music, albums that I listen to. I don't listen to like modern music. I just listen to rock bands from the 80s and 90s. So like any culture like that is what I used to always joke to my brother that kind of like my parents worked really hard, and they weren't really around much when I was a kid, just in terms of growing up. They supported me. I don't mean like that they were never there. I just mean that like they were always working late, and I just kind of joked to him that The Simpsons brought me up. Just in terms of things I learned and the way to kind of approach life. It's just I'm like a sponge, so anything will stick with me. Like any movie quote, just random stupid movie quotes will just stick in my head, and I'll sometimes use them, and people will sometimes not know what I'm talking about. It's like, what? Like, is that a quote? Is that what's that from? And it's just 90% of what I say is just like repurposed movie quotes.
Well, the first shocking, although I seen you around, and we became friends on Facebook and on YouTube. You were so Ryan Bitters of Waylight Creations, Ryan Bitters and Amy Bitters, they have a show, and these cats have been doing, I mean, a lot of behind the scenes for years now, all sorts of ideas. Like they'll come up with these people are like the type of people that you want to be around. They come up with an idea, and they're like, well, we're going to do it. Whereas a lot of people say, well, we got to ponder the idea. Well, they came up with this idea called Makers Wanted, which JP is also involved in. Chad from Man Crafting, Javi's Wood Shop, Brian Bales. Brian Bales just came out with a video just now. I saw it in my feed. Dan the Maker Man, a bunch of cats there. And you popped up in one, and it blew me away, dude. I was like, holy smokes. You became, and in fact, that's why the channel art that you see on Facebook, and it's going to be on this when this is all done, nice. was that pic. Dude, what a trip. So, I mean, what was your thought process? You said, okay, I'm going to do a Wolverine skit. What, can you tell us?
I mean, he's by far and away kind of my favorite movie character. Like beyond comic book character, like I love my comics. I love like the Frank Miller Wolverine, but the Wolverine from the very first X-Men film has just been this dude that has just stuck with me. And I'm also kind of hairy. So like my brother was always calling me Wolverine when I was a kid. Like I've always had a beard, like from the age of like 16, and just crazy hair. And I've never thought about like cosplay or dressing up and stuff, but it just lent itself to it. As soon as I did this this beard for Movember, I was like, oh dude, that's like one little cutaway, and I'm looking like Wolverine there. I've got the big mutton chops and stuff, and I just couldn't resist, and I just thought, right, how do I make some claws? What can I do? And this Makers Wanted thing was just a perfect opportunity. I mean, I think you're totally right about Ryan and Amy. I think they're doing amazing stuff. You know, Ryan's channel in its own right is great, and his content is fantastic. But the way he's kind of pushing this community and pushing for us to all do extra things, and you know, I think it's a fantastic sort of portal just for us to mess around, but also, like you said, to share our madness with other people as well.
Heck
so
yeah,
I'm really grateful for Ryan. I think he's doing fantastic things.
Well, we were, before the show and stuff, before we started realizing, well, you know, is he gonna not show up? I mean, what's going on? Well, before all that, like a couple of hours earlier, we were saying, oh, dude, we hope that he comes out total Wolverine all the way, you know, to the nines. Dude,
I was so tempted. Like I had the claws ready in the hack shack and everything. They're like out on the bench laid out. I'm like, do I do this? Oh, am I just going to be that Wolverine guy? You know, it's like...
Well, it's a total trip that one could do that. Total trip. So if you guys out there haven't seen that, you should check out. And by the way, all the links are in the description, so you can check out Al's Hack Shack. And again, new channel, relatively speaking, like a year. Has it been a year?
6 months.
6 months, and you're doing pretty darn fantastic, dude. Right?
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying really hard. For me, it's just about being able to get enough videos out. You know, if I could get more frequent, maybe one a week or something, I think I'd really start to pick up. But that's my biggest barrier at the moment is just finding the time to produce this stuff. Yeah. Right.
JP, you're so I'd like you to you know, if you have any questions for Al.
There's a few questions from Matt in the chat.
Keep it clean. I've been told I've got to keep it clean.
I'll keep it clean.
Just one last thing, Eli. Sorry, on the Wolverine thing. Since I got my delicious blonde locks, there may be like an old man Logan appearing at some point. So keep your eyes open.
Oh, that'll be cool, dude. If you do that, dude. Did you read the comic books? I haven't finished because I collected the that new Marvel. Did you read them? The new ones?
I've not read the new ones. I've read Old Man Logan, the like relatively new one from a few years ago. Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, the thing is, they're so comics. I don't want to like knock it, but comics are not like 65 cent, 75 cent anymore, dude.
Tell me about it. Yeah, you have to be really smart with which ones that you read because it's a commitment. It's like a real fight. I mean, that's the point, right? You know,
I
there's
used
like,
to go up and down the aisle, and I'd grab all of them back in the day. It's
Yeah.
like I'd go up and down the aisle, and you can't do that no more.
no, you've got to be really like really
Picky.
selective, really picky, man.
I feel like I'm watching Big Bang Theory. Anyway, some of the questions that we've got. We've got one from Steve Twidell from Temple Ward Turning saying, "Does Al use the same hair product as Cole Jacobson?"
I wish I did. Do you know what? Like I when I was a kid and a skater and stuff, I did used to like dye my hair stupid colors all the time, and that was like 15, 20 years ago. So like I was just like putting my head over the bath and washing this bleach out, and this smell just hit me, and it just like instantly took me back to this teenage kid dyeing his hair.
A question from Jim Bashir. He wants to know how big is the Hack Shack?
Oh god, it's as big as I was allowed to build it legally. So like building regs in the UK, you're allowed to be 2.5 meters high, 8 feet high ish, and inside it's 9 feet by 14 feet footprint. So
Okay.
it's small. It's like not even a 1-car garage.
Okay.
Yeah.
A question from Jake Thompson. He said, "How did Al learn to edit his videos?"
The best way I find to do anything, which is just doing it. Like the Hack Shack build was the as I say, the first film I've ever made, first video I've ever made. And it was just a case of like jumping at the deep end, you know, try see what works. Took a long time. As anyone that makes videos knows, editing is like the most time consuming part. But yeah, I just learn as I do. That's the way I kind of enjoy this stuff.
Fair dues, fair dues. And a question from our good friend Mr. Antivirus, Brett McAfee. What would it take for Al to go to the Hack Shack full time?
If I could do it right now, I would. I'd love to. The amount of ideas I have and the kind of energy for this whole community and this lifestyle is unbelievable. That would be an absolute dream. I just need to be able to get paid. You know, it's hard to make a living. We're all the same. We've all got bills to pay. And for me right now, especially after last week, there's no way of me making any money. So I hopefully at some point we'll do that. That's kind of the dream.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need you guys' help, and I need to think of a way to get there, because that would be fantastic.
Yeah. I've actually got a question as well. Some people may not know you're actually quite a prolific chef. What I want to know is, what is the best thing, in your opinion, you've ever cooked?
Oh wow, that's a good one. Well, you get some crepes, right, and some waffles, and some bacon. I do make a really good curry. If you're into that sort of thing, I make a sick curry. Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you what.
I'm thinking camping stoves that make essential. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, now you're talking. The millennium, right? The year 2000, so the millennium. I went to a house party of my friends, and they knew I was a chef. Bear in mind, I was like 17, and they were quite rich. It was like up in the north of Scotland, and there was like this eccentric house party, and they got me to make this massive curry for everyone. You know, like 200 people. They threw all the ingredients at me, and then just as I made the curry, they threw this little bag of suspicious-looking substances, which may or may not have found its way into the curry. So I don't know how it tasted, but that's probably the most enjoyed thing I've ever cooked, anyway.
Wow. Fair enough.
But we don't condone that sort of thing.
No. Right, that's it for the time being, Eloy.
And who all is out there? Could you tell us that?
Yeah, no worries. If you give us 2 seconds, I'll go back over there. Right, over there at the moment, we have Bear Attics Woodshop, Jim Shears, Bales, Mark Lindsay CNC, Gerald the Red Smith, Katie Dotson, Wolfcraft, Jim Dockrell, Sophie Lewis from Make It Soph, Corey Orrell, Brett McAfee, Steve Nealon from Harnealmedia, obviously sponsors of our channels, Patrick's from Patrick's Workshop, Asgard Wood Turning, OJ's Woodcraft, Crosscut Creations. Let's keep going. Temple Boy Turnings.
Boom.
There's quite a few. Matt Hoss is out there from Awesome Wood Things and Awesome Fun Things. Doc Jared Hildebrandt's out there. Portal Woodworks. Jake Thompson. So yeah. Did I say Heidi as well? Heidi from Slap Stuff Together's out there as well. Which reminds me, Heidi's actually got a question. She said, "What is your day job?"
My day job is I'm a graphic designer, which is quite a broad term. It's to most people that's like logos and that kind of thing. But I'm actually more in kind of the branding side for it. I work for like sort of the huge brands that you'd see in the supermarket and things like that. And it can be from designing the packaging all the way through to kind of like coming up with products and things like that. So it's all about, it's all about branding, which is kind of, I think as well, why my channel is starting off quite well, because I'm able to understand kind of how brands work and what the Hack Shack brand is going to be and things like that. It's a really weird thing to talk about when it's yourself and when it's a person. But I think if you look at any of the sort of guys that are doing really, really well in our space, people like Bob Claggett, it's because they're doing really great things with their brand. Sometimes it's a person, sometimes it's their workshop or their job. But it's really interesting to see how the things I do in my day job apply to me as a person and me as this crazy dude in a shed as well. It's really interesting.
That's an amazing thing. So let's talk about that, Al's Hack Shack, and the first video that you put out, which you've spoken of a little bit here. So you have your workshop in the back of your house?
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Yeah, go on. So like this is I used to live in Amsterdam before I moved to Leeds. I was living in the Netherlands for 6 years.
Well, they make Heineken, Eloy.
They do make Heineken.
No, it's the thing is that JP loves to, like, it's a long story. You know what? I'll just say it quickly. See how you just mess up the whole darn interview? So we were on Hangouts, and a long time ago, Javi's Wood Shop, JP, Mark Saunders, and I were here in Miami hanging out, and Javi made some sort of funny about Foster's beer and I don't know what, and JP, and we filmed it. It's on my channel. And so I made a funny the other day, a month ago, and like saying, oh, Heineken is from England, just joking, like the whole thing about, oh, we don't know anything here in America, everybody's, and he took with that and ran with it, man. And now he's got videos out there that I don't know where the darn beer come from, and it's like a whole world of like, I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. That's JP for you.
Hey, listen, if we knew how to make lager that good in England, we wouldn't be so miserable.
Yeah.
English lager is terrible.
It's horrible.
So the Hack Shack, that first. Here's the question. There's more to it than that, and expand however you like. But when you, why did you think of that? Doing that, you wanted a solution, and when did you think I'm going to start this? Did you think I'm going to start this with a video or with a channel, and I'm going to go with the branding of it and do a theme? And what happened? What was your thinking?
The weird thing is that there used to be a shed there, and there used to be a greenhouse there that I grew like vegetables and fruit and stuff in. And then last year we had a really bad storm around this time, actually, last year. And it totally destroyed my greenhouse. All the glass smashed and the whole thing just basically got tore apart. A bit like Joe's gazebo in his garden. And so I was left with this kind of tiny space, and I was like, oh, do I build like another one? Do I build a shed? And I looked at the shed that was there, and I was like, oh man, this is rotting to pieces. Like, it's tiny. There's nothing I can do with it. But this isn't my house. This is a rented property. So I spoke to my landlady. I was like, can I knock this down and build a workshop? And she's like, yeah, go for it. Fill your boots. And so I cleared it all out, and it turned out there used to be an old garage there. So they did actually have a one-car garage up the side of the house, and I was like, all right, this is going to be awesome. So I built this thing, and then I thought, as I started building it, I was like, oh man, this could be the start of my story. This could be my way in for like my first episode, like the pilot episode for this thing. And I didn't really have a name for it. I saw myself as this kind of jack of all trades, and I was going to be like, oh, let's call it Jack of All Trades. And then I found out there's already like 10 channels already called that. A master of none, there's another channel already like that. And I just then my mind started racing, and it started snowballing. I was like, yeah, I could build this, and I could have a bench, and I could tell stories and have fun and learn things and make things and video it. And I started speaking to Joe and to JP and Chris and Rich, and they really started helping me think of ideas about what I could do. And then the more people I met, the more supportive they were, and they were encouraging and like, yeah, dude, get on it. Can't wait to see your first video and all this stuff. Bear in mind, I'd never made a video in my life, so it could have been awful. But everyone was just really supportive. And then I came up with this idea, this hack shack. I was like, what's going to sum me up? Because I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't have a specific skill, so it can't be, Al's woodworking or Al's patchwork quilts. I didn't have any sort of specific thing. And this idea of a hack shack just came around. It's like a hack to me is like, yeah, it's about like making things work that don't work, but also it's kind of like somebody who's pretending a little bit, like a hack, like a fraud.
That's cool, because I thought of a third. In my mind, I thought of a third. Like, I did consider those.
Yeah.
But in my twisted mind, I was thinking of hack, like horror movie hack.
Yeah,
like, you drag someone in and you're whacking away and stuff. I'm sorry, guys. Those are I did think that, because hack. Sorry, dude. Sorry, I thought that. So
you're not the first.
Oh, you've heard that?
It's kind of funny.
One of my friends from Holland, who's like, oh, you've built your very own kill room. Nice.
Nice.
No, that's not what it is.
It's kind of funny that you call yourself a hacker or a fraud, like you don't know what you're doing. And you look at your beer dispenser in your table and you think, how the hell can you not know what you're doing? I think that came out brilliant.
I have the idea in my head, so I know how to have ideas, but bringing it to life, I'm like, how am I? And I just basically just
wing
it, freestyle it until it happens. So like, I'd love there to be like a behind the scenes in the Hack Shack, like when people do Twitch, or like live streaming or something. Like if you saw that, you'd all just be like rolling on the floor laughing, because like I like just try to like make things fit, and just like hitting things with the wrong tool and just like making it work. Like I get there in the end, but the journey is a long and difficult one.
And what software did you mention that before? What software are you using?
No, actually, so it's back to the job question, actually, because for my job I need to use a lot of Adobe Illustrator, a lot of Photoshop, and because for my job as well, it's not just like traditional design. I do a lot of multimedia as well. So I started to learn things like Premiere. So it was really helpful for the first video that I'd learned that, because I'm actually using it now in my job. So I'm starting to do movies and stuff at work, which is really helpful. So because I already have to pay for the Adobe suite for my work, I had these tools then to use for the Hack Shack, which is really, really helpful. So I use Premiere for making movies, and I'm just starting to learn After Effects as well. So the Matrix video that just came out last week, that was kind of really heavy on the After Effects side of things, which is is super interesting, but it's like a real rabbit hole. Like going down there, like there's so many things you can do, and it takes so long. But as I'm starting to learn that, I really enjoy it.
After Effects is cool, but like to get a segment, like usually I don't want a little part with effects in it.
Yeah.
I would, and by the way, I haven't done that or focused on that in a long while, but I have After Effects.
Yeah.
But I want a long segment with and it takes forever to render.
Oh, big time.
And that's the thing, right? It's like, man, I'm going to have to sit here for half an hour till this darn thing renders out.
Yeah.
Whether it's green screen or whatever the heck.
Yeah.
But yeah, After Effects is a trip and a half.
Yeah. Because like my computer at home, in my industry, they have to go through quite a lot of turnover of computers, because basically you've always got to keep up with the latest technology in design studios. So they often get rid of all the old computers, which is great. But also the places that I work don't want to get rid of stuff. So like I've got a 10-year-old computer from my old work. Now like a 10-year-old computer is going to struggle, right?
Big time.
Yeah, so I'm there on this sort of. I mean, I'm grateful that I've got it, and it only cost me like $150 from work, because they kind of auction them off. But I'm sitting there with this sort of 10-year-old iMac trying to render out After Effects, like special effects and stuff videos, and like it's so old that like some things won't work. It'll say like, this effect is not possible on this computer or something like that. But it gets there in the end, and it's kind of part of the process. Like I like the fact that something like that takes time, because it's kind of worth it.
Totally.
You get this sense of like satisfaction at the end when it finally finishes, and it's kind of like yeah.
You should check out. I don't know if you guys, and for you guys out there that have After Effects, this guy's been around forever. He revolutionized just like the whole YouTube thing. He started with YouTube and a website. This guy's out in California. His name is Andrew Kramer, and he needs no freaking help from me. But because we're talking about After Effects, I'll tell you, his channel, his website is called videocopilot.net. Have you heard of that, Al?
No, I've not.
Okay, Al, I was going to call him Al's Hack Shack. And Andrew Kramer, if you get a chance, go visit for After Effects stuff, and he even gives free plugins. Dude, I think I might have seen some of his tutorials on YouTube. Yep, he's got tutorials. Yeah. I think I know. I kind of didn't know his name, but I think I've seen some of his stuff. Now I've seen the logo. Well, the thing about that guy, just to let everybody know how cool things happen. I mean, get this. The guy was a very young dude, 17 years ago, or whenever the heck YouTube first started, because I've been doing After Effects for a long time, just to add it to music videos and green screening.
Sorry, just to quickly cut you off. Brett turned around and said that Andrew was his teacher, taught him everything he knew. Oh, sweet.
Andrew Kramer?
I guess so, yeah. He said Andrew was his teacher, taught him everything he knew.
Who said that?
Brett McAfee.
Oh wow, dude! What a no, dude! Come on.
He just said it in the chat.
The Andrew Kramer, dude. That's so. We're gonna have to talk. Because that guy. So here's the thing about that guy, Andrew Kramer. He started off with his, website.
He just confirmed it.
Well, that's freaking awesome stuff, dude. I'm gonna tell you. We're gonna have a talk about that, because I totally love.
And what do you mean, Andrew Kramer? Are you talking about the Brett McAfee here?
Well, check this out. Well, check out this mind-blowing thing. The guy starts. See, this is a good example. The guy starts a website. The guy starts selling stuff from effects and this and that. Forward march to like 3 years ago or whatever, I think he was hired by Skywalker Industrial Light and Matte. I don't know what, to do logos, graphics in the Star Wars movie.
Oh, nice.
I mean, how mind-blowing is that, dude? Anyways, yes. After Effects, awesome program. Pain in the butt, but really awesome.
The thing I find is you can do anything you want in it. Like if you can work a way, if you can work out a way to do it, it's possible in After Effects. There just might not be a tutorial, there might not be a lesson on it, but if it's in your head, I'm pretty sure you can get it. You can get it done in After Effects. It's just about learning the little tricks and things that are hidden in there.
Well, now let me ask you, and JP, if there's any questions, I'm just going to ask one question, and then if there's any questions out there, feel free. But I want to ask this to get this out there. So the skills that you have, because you do all sorts of different things in the videos that you've put out there on your channel. Where do those skills come from? The wood. Can you give us some background so we have a better picture of how was that nudged into place? How did that happen?
I've always been like really hands-on since a kid. I've always been kind of like artistic, whether it's like illustration or crafts and stuff and making things. But yeah, from a really young age, as soon as I was kind of allowed to pick up things that might hurt me, or sharp things or heavy things, I was always building and making. So like going into the garage and coming up with like inventions and things. You know, like this show's called the Mad Maker Show. Like I love the fact that that's how I thought of myself as a kid, as this kind of mad scientist, this mad maker. I don't know if you've seen the movie Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
No, I've not seen that one yet.
It's a great movie. You should see it. But I had the book when I was a kid, and it was just like that. That's how I saw myself, as this kind of little weird, like mad scientist inventor, like coming up with stupid things. You know, like breakfast making machines and things like that would never actually do anything useful. But I just love the mechanics of it and love watching how things work. So like JP said, like about the beer bench, like it was just more about being able to work out how this mechanism would work and the physics of it and things like that. I've always loved finding out what makes things do what they do. So I love taking things apart. My parents probably hated me as a kid because I was always just taking apart anything I could, very rarely putting it back together again, and just finding out the inner workings. It's just like it fascinated me.
What do your buddies, family members, what do they think of what you're doing with your have they seen your videos? Or do they think you're nuts?
They've always thought I'm nuts. They think I'm nuts. Like most of my friends are not like creative people. You know, I've got one buddy who's a graphic designer, but most of them like are real adults with real jobs. And then I'm just kind of the weird friend that's just got this shack in this video. But it's really interesting because they now start to watch my channel and they tell me about it, and they tell their friends about it, and it's really exciting to see people who aren't makers and aren't creative find this world that we're in really interesting.
JP?
Yes, mate. Yeah, we've got a couple more questions from out in the chat. Got one from Sophie from Make It Soph. Soph. Yeah, she says, where is Al's patchwork quilt?
Is that a euphemism?
I have no idea.
There will be a patchwork quilt at some point. Like,
is she supplying the wool?
I guess so. No, but like if I watch stuff like Crafts with Ellen, like a channel like that, and I see textiles and things like that, really gets me excited. There's something awesome about it. There's a channel called Man Sewing. I don't know if you've ever seen Man Sewing. There's a guy called Rob. He's like a total like California dude, like surfer, and he's just a man who sews, and it's awesome. And I'd love to get a sewing machine. I'd love to kind of add that to my repertoire in the Hack Shack. I think you could do awesome things with fabric and leather and stuff. And that's definitely something for 2018 is learning how to do that.
That's awesome, dude. Totally.
Yeah.
The leather work, sewing, all of that. Sorry, Go ahead, JP.
No, yeah, when you watch like the Red Smith and stuff, just making things out of leather, I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the Red Smith on to to do the show, and then so I reached out a month ago or so, and I said, hey dude, I want you on the Mad Maker show, and he says, man, it's really late over here, and I'm like, come on dude, what's and he's like, well, okay, I'll try. I'll say, go ahead.
They're an hour ahead of us. Is it ahead of us? Yeah, they're ahead of us.
Yeah.
So that means what?
So that basically means it'll be past 3 o'clock in the morning when we finish.
Dude, Red, come on, 3 o'clock.
Just get up early.
Well, I said,
don't go to bed. Have a whiskey.
Well, I said to him, well, look, dude, fine, I get it, because he said it was really late for him, and I said, well, dude, how about if we do a pre-recorded show? And he says, okay, man, no problem and stuff. But I mean, what do you guys think out there? Is pre-recorded? Do you mind it, or do you appreciate the live interaction and stuff, or a mixture of? Would that be something cool? I'd like to know what they think. But go ahead, JP.
Why don't you ask Red? He's in the chat room.
Oh, is Red in the chat room?
Yeah. Can't be that late.
He was. He's probably gone to bed now.
Well, wait a second. See if he's in the chat room. And
he's out there. It was actually Red Smith that suggested to get Brett on the show. So I think he's kind of bailing and suggesting to other people. So anyway, we've got another question from Bear Attics Woodshop. He wants to know. He says, "I love the light and relaxed attitude you bring to your channel. How many edits does it take to keep it that way?"
It is kind of like that all the time. The way I kind of film, I pretend that I'm in there with someone, which sounds a bit creepy, but it's not. When I'm talking to the camera and stuff, I kind of act as if it's just I'm talking to you guys, kind of like this. So it is always relaxed. It's always like me goofing around. So most of the takes are exactly the same. It'll just be me pulling various stupid faces. I saw Sumo from Sumo's projects. He did like a blooper reel at the end of last year, and I absolutely loved it. I think I'm going to do one of those this year, just with like funny outtakes from the Hack Shack. But yeah, it's mostly relaxed, so I try to keep it that way. It keeps me kind of sane in there as well. So I'm not taking it too seriously. I think if I try and get the perfect shot and things like that, I think it's just going to stop being fun.
Yeah. Red's still out in the chat. He's still very, very active out in the chat as well.
You see,
he's putting it down to insomnia because he's usually sleeping.
Oh, that's a great escape there, Red. Whatever, we love Red, and if he can do it, he can do it.
We've also got out in the chat. We've got Katie Dotson, Jim Dockrell, Dave Gatton, Wolfcraft, Jake Thompson, Jim Bashirs, Bales, Harnealmedia. Who else we got out there? Looks like Heidi's still out there. Who else there? Brett's still out there. Sophie's still out there. Javi's out there now, as well as a lot of others.
Awesome.
Oh, Matt Huss has gone to bed now, I think. Chad's out there now as well.
Oh, Mancrafting. Finally, Mancrafting has been MIA.
Mancrafting mug.
Mancrafting. Eloy, have you got a Mancrafting mug?
I do.
Actually, I feel left out.
Well, no doubt I'll be getting another shipment from Chad soon anyway.
Right.
Are you guys, what's the story with that UK meetup and stuff? Where's that going to be? And are you guys you're all going to be there? Who's going to be there?
Birmingham at the NEC.
Okay, do you know who's going to be there? Who's not going to be there?
A lot of people. I don't know who's going to be there exactly. We're hoping to get Nick back on the podcast soon for kind of an update. But if you go to Nick's channel, he updates it quite regularly, lets you know who's going. And I think you can actually go to makercentral.co.uk and there's a a list of people kind of who's going.
Yeah.
I think they update it regularly as well.
I think it shows like people who are actually going to have stalls and present, but even just the makers that are going to attend.
Yeah.
He's got a list. It's really cool.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys, Al, are you going to go?
Yeah, totally. I was like, as soon as the tickets went on sale, I'm like, I'm going to be there. I want to meet these people. You know, these crazy guys from halfway around the world that entertain me every day and leave me comments and things like that. So you're not able to make it, Eloy? Is it going to be too difficult to travel or something?
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to make it. Maybe one day I'll visit you guys. Totally love to do that. Particularly, I want to go directly to
Abbey
all
Road.
yeah. Frankly, that's what I want to. Sure, it'll be cool to meet you guys, JP. Oh, I've already met JP. I just got to go shoot straight to Abbey Road.
Nice.
I'm a big Beatles fan. I mean, huge Beatles fan. For a long, long time, musically, just everything. Boy, that sidetracked me. I was I was going in. Oh, okay. So I wanted to ask you: is Chad going? Is Sophie?
Chad and Sophie are going.
Yep.
Oh wow, dude, that's gonna be pretty massive, dude. Is DeResta going?
Yeah.
Yep.
Holy smokes, dude. Who else?
Bob Claggett, all of making it are going.
Wow. Oh, that's gonna be dude. That's gonna be
Heath Knuckles, Bobby Duke.
Holy smokes! I think Bobby Duke came out with a video just recently. I saw the bell.
The pencil one.
Yep.
He carved a pencil. What's that? I think Leonardo. It was a film with Leonardo DiCaprio in it.
Wait a second. Twidell did a pencil too yesterday.
Yeah, Steve turned a pencil, but Bobby Duke carved a pencil within a pencil within a pencil. What's that film Leonardo DiCaprio done?
Inception.
What it's called?
Titanic?
Inception.
Titanic. Oh, dear.
It has no connection whatsoever, but I went with it. You know what I mean?
There were pencils on the Titanic. Come on.
They had to be pencils.
Exactly.
Come on. That would a trip and a half. Well, that's going to be awesome. And when does that happen? That meetup?
That's happening May 5th and 6th.
Oh wow.
Robin Jacobson's birthday is on the 6th of May, and mine's on the 7th. So hopefully everyone will still be there.
Sweet. Mine's the week before.
Oh wow.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm probably about 10 years older than you, though.
Actually, the week before, bit of a shameless plug. It's the Maker Faire in the UK as well. The week before.
Oh yeah.
So up north, we only have one Maker Faire in England. That's happening on the 28th of April. So I'm hoping if some of the guys that are over are able to also check that out as well, because it's quite small compared to some of the ones you guys have in the States.
But that Maker Central thing, that's going to be huge.
Massive.
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't know how true it was. I know there was a video there. They're going to have the real life Batmobile there as well.
Nice.
And that I think there was going to be an ice carver there as well. So someone doing ice sculptures.
Right.
He's got some real good people doing like demos and trade stands and things like that there. So yeah, Hegner's one of the ones I definitely want to go and check out, and Easy Wood Tools and things like that.
And how do you guys?
Go ahead. Sorry. I was just going to say, JP. I don't know if is the idea that this is going to be a yearly thing. Like, is that?
I don't know. I think at the moment, I think he said it was going to be a one-off. I'm assuming if it's a success, he may make it a yearly thing. But I believe at the moment it's just a one-off.
Okay, cool.
Because obviously he's put a lot of time and money into it.
Yeah, of course.
Well, are you guys gonna? Obviously you guys are going. So you're gonna film. Are you guys gonna do any live streaming? Are you gonna do any? I mean,
I'm sure everyone will be doing lives without doubt. I mean, everyone has got a YouTube channel that's going there basically. So there's going to be vlogs. Everyone's going to be recording at some point. Do you know what I mean?
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
So your Facebook will be lit up with, look, we're live.
Everyone's live. Everyone's going live. Yeah.
Oh my God, I've just seen a Brit. You know.
No, it's funny because I don't know who was saying that I wasn't going to be able to understand, because sometimes I don't understand what the heck JP, when he talks in a certain way, like fast or something, I'm like, what? And then he looks, you could see his face, JP's face, like when we're talking, like he actually, there's some he's kind of slightly offended, like, you didn't understand that. And I'm like, no, dude, I didn't. And it becomes a thing, right? So they were telling me behind the scenes earlier today, dude, between Al's Hack Shack and JP, you're not going to know what the heck's going on.
You just need some subtitles across the bottom. It's okay.
Yeah, dude.
I feel sorry for some of these people that that are going to go to Birmingham and get to hear some real thick Brummie accents.
Yeah, wow. Like Joe is like the most well-spoken Brummie there is out there. Like,
yeah.
From Birmingham. He's practically the Queen.
So let me ask you this. So, going forward, what things do you want to get into? What disciplines and what experiments do you want to try out? Oh, I said experiment, Chad. I did not. Yes, I did. I said experiment. Chad doesn't like when I say experiment because it's too crazy. What going forward? What are the avenues you want to start taking and exploring?
Experiments, definitely. They're welcome in the Hack Shack. You saw me mess around with fire. Like I love that stuff.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Everything, man. Everything. Bring it on. Like hopefully my next video, I'm gonna explore some metal work and try and get into that and see what I can do with my kind of limited tools. Obviously, I don't have a huge setup and all the bells and whistles in the Hack Shack, so I just try and kind of make do with what I can. So I'm going to see if I've got the skills and the tools to make things out of metal. That's hopefully my next project. And from there, it's like I said, we're talking about fabric and sewing machines and things and leather work. That's on the list as well. I've got kind of a really exciting year ahead, and I'm hopefully going to learn a whole bunch of stuff. Hopefully, new interesting videos and build projects, just doing things I've never done before.
You're not going to make nothing out of dry ice, are you?
Oh, why not? Yeah, actually, I have got something for dry ice, but I'm not telling you because it's a secret.
People have been getting in trouble with that recently.
Yes, well,
wait, I don't know what the heck's going on. What do you mean?
King of Random.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard something about that, but I'm oblivious. What happened? I know he got arrested, but I don't know why.
He made an explosive device or something.
Yeah, we've all made explosive devices,
and we all.
It's just where do you draw the line? I think I'm definitely one for experimenting, but there will be no illegal things going on in the Hack Shack.
There you go. Yeah. See.
Actually, well, there could potentially be, because my friend is a biochemist.
Whoa.
And and he really wants me to hack my DNA, and he's like, "Oh, dude, we should totally do it. We should totally get in and just experiment with you and your body, and we should do things, and I'll give you these injections, and then we can change your saliva so it glows under UV light." And I'm like, sounds cool, but I'm pretty sure there's conventions and laws that say you're not allowed to do this stuff. But yeah, there may be some sort of biochem going on in the Hack Shack as well, so check it out.
So now as far as branding and all that, what can you give the cats out there and gals some tips, ideas, things that just pop into it doesn't have to be any particular thing, just concepts about branding and whatnot, just anything you'd like to share, if at all.
Yeah, so doesn't matter what client I work for, whether it's in the food industry or pharmaceutical, beer brands or anything like that. The most important thing we talk about is the personality of the brand. I don't mean to kind of belittle a lot of the guys out there, and I think there's some fantastic brands out there. I love seeing people's logos, but there's a lot of guys. For example, anyone who does woodworking has a table saw, right? So it's it's an instant message to anyone watching. Oh, this guy's doing woodworking. You don't need to read the name. You don't need to. You can just look at the picture, right? So people don't read. So when you're in a supermarket or something, you don't actually read the words. You just look at shapes and colors. So that is an instant symbol that this guy does woodworking. And what I want to get into my branding and stuff is actually the personality of me. Because as I said, like my show is not about a tool that I use or a product that I'm making. It's actually just mainly about me. So my little doodle, my little logo is just my face, right? It's just like a little scribble of this hairy dude. And it's meant to get across that I'm a little bit messy, I'm a little bit fun, I'm a little bit crazy, but like I've got big eyes and I'm looking at you and I'm kind of engaging with you and I'm joining in with you. You know, it's a two-way thing. It sounds really stupid and complicated, but that is very deliberate why I did what I did.
There's a psychological level to all these things. A lot of people discard that. I'm one that's very big on that. Not that I'm not schooled in it, but I have an instinct, a very strong instinct on certain things, like perception-wise, towards the world around me, what comes across from people, and how things are done. So it's instinctual to me, and I'm always looking at the psychological angle of things that might be subconscious for a lot of people, but it does, you know, you present something, it goes into the eyes and the brain, you know, these very basic things like you're saying. I'm a big believer in that because it's kind of true, right? I mean, it's been studied, right?
Yeah, and it's a lot of kind of the behind the scenes stuff of what I do. I mean, I look at your branding, Eloy, and I see like a skull and a beard, and it's very rock and roll. Like, tells me that you like your music. It's black and white. You know, I understand the things that you like just from looking at that, and I understand what I'm going to get when I come and see you and when I visit you. It has eyes in, so there's that kind of eye contact. You know, Andy Berkey, yeah, it's just a little doodle with like his face, but he's already just in the, you know, if I think of YouTube as a store, right? And the shelf is all these products on this shelf. I don't want to go on a Chris Cute rant about about the meat aisle in the supermarket, but that's what I think of it. And how am I going to stand out? So like, what colors am I going to use? So I basically just looked at all the logos on my subscription feed, and they were all black and white and red. Or 90% of them were black and white and red.
Yeah.
And the YouTube is black and white and red. And I was like, right, what can I do to stand out? And I picked green because it's my favorite color, but also there was a handful of green channels. So straight away I'm like, right, maybe this will help me stand out in this sea of fantastic content. What can I do to just give myself that little extra help? Yeah, little simpler things like that. It sounds really like pedantic and silly, and like I'm making stuff up. But like you say, this is psychology, and this is literally what I do for a living: is how to get people in a busy supermarket to buy things.
I mean, there's a lot of stimuli occurring all around us all the time, and YouTube is like I always think it's even a miracle that we get as many people as we get anyhow.
Yeah,
watching with all the you know the stimuli out there and competition for eyes and all that. Isn't it true?
Yeah, totally. It's overstimulation, and especially in this time as well. You know, there's always something on TV. There's always something on your phone. There's always something passing you by. You know, again, there's studies that we're just being overstimulated. People's attention spans are shorter, so it's harder and harder and harder to get people's attentions. And I see that with all the companies that I work for. You know, how are we going to sell more chocolate? You know, there's too many chocolate brands out there, and the shelves are too big. And you know, how do I get people to buy my car? There's too many car brands.
Well, back in the day, just to tell you this in converse, back in the day, we would write music and record in bands and stuff, and try to play out and sell, you know, and try. That was the effort. And there was a point where I was thinking, dude, to my friends, there's so many bands, there's so much music, popular garage bands, everything, you know, it's too much. You know, no matter what you do, it's like, you know, how many more love songs, how many more conflicting songs can you, how many more, you know? And I thought, I was thinking the other day, I'm going to put out an album that's completely blank.
Nice.
I'll title it, but there's nothing, all the tracks, nothing.
Yeah.
You know, like to press, you know, refresh on the computer and start from blank, right? Obviously that's not going to work because people are going to feel ripped off. But you get the point, right? The point is like there's a lot of things going on out there.
That's really funny you said that. I actually did an album cover when I was at college. It was like a set of seven 7-inch singles, and they were for the 7 deadly sins. So there was like a cover for wrath, there was one for greed, etc. But the one for sloth was just blank because it was just about laziness, and it was just a white record sleeve. There was no music on the vinyl, no tracks on the back, and it's just like, yeah. But it stands out, right? It's all about standing out.
Yeah, totally. JP, any questions out there before we continue? You're muted.
Suppose that would help. No, not really. They're just kind of talking amongst themselves at the moment. Brett says bye.
Brett, thank you for that. That was pretty neat, though, right?
Yeah, man. That's cool.
The Andrew Kramer thing. What a trip.
Very cool.
I don't know if he has. No, he didn't leave.
Oh, sorry, Brett. We didn't mean to push you. We're like the waiter trying to push you out the door.
Everyone was saying bye to him, and he was like, did I leave? Oh, because I was scrolling up saying, looking for his message, saying like he was going. And I was like, I didn't see it.
Well, you know, here in Miami, when you go to a restaurant, not all of them, but a lot of them. So you'll sit down, and I know in Europe it's slightly different. You sit for out, and you know you enjoy the. Yeah. Well, you order, and they bring you everything, and like eat, hurry up. Like they're practically pushing the food, and like they want you out. Drop the tip, get out of here. Next, you know. Sorry about that, Brett.
That was the other Brett. Sorry. Brett,
the
bear. I was in the bear, right? Okay.
The bear.
That makes sense. How that works?
Yep.
Let me ask you this: do you have I never put in the description that if you have a website or not. Do you have a website?
I do, but there's nothing on it. I really need to sort my website out. I've got some kind of merch coming, t-shirts, things like that. So eventually that'll be the place where they all live. So there is an alshackshack.com, but there's nothing there if you go there.
Okay.
I do I have a personal website that has like old illustration things on. But that's like, yeah, I've not updated that in about 10 years. So I'm terrible at organization.
So I've been lately doing videos and posting my videos, and whatever I build, starting to put it on my Etsy store and selling them, you know, using the videos to tell stories, and then putting it on the Etsy store, and just sort of like cross, you know, marketing. Nice. and so that's the idea. I just did a Cobra Commander sign, and I told
it's awesome, man. I've seen on Instagram, it's awesome. That and the Decepticon.
Yeah, the Decepticon one.
You're pulling my strings, man.
Yeah, I love that, and it's feel good stuff that I remember, you know, as a kid. But I did want to mention just a little bit here. Harnealmedia is my webmaster, as well as JP's, as well as Makers International, the podcast Makers International. Chad from Man Crafting, Miter Mike's, Doc Jared Hildebrandt. Geez, who else? Portal Woodworks.
The list is endless.
The list is kind of endless, and so if you guys out there, like Steve Nealon, which is Harnealmedia, he works for makers, helping makers build, you know, their websites, and it's been a great thing. So I always promote Harneal on here because he's done such a fantastic job. I think that websites are like not the be all end all, but with that and you know, YouTube and so it's a great way to market whatever it is that you're trying to promote and put out there. Are you going to be selling items?
Yeah, eventually. I mean, one of the questions earlier on is like, are you going to do this full time?
That's right.
I'd absolutely love to, and I think that could be a really good way to help me be able to do that. So anything that I'm not sure it's things that I make, like one-off things like flaming chainsaws, but if there's anything that people would want to buy, or you know, t-shirts, as I say, I'm a graphic designer, and Illustrator and stuff, so I could maybe start thinking of designs and ideas that people might actually want to pay money for. So that could really help fund the Hack Shack. But like you say, Eloy, you know, tell the stories on YouTube, but have that as a way to then sell stuff in other places. So that could be a really nice connection.
Yeah, all we really have in the end, I mean, it's not all we have, but telling stories and just, you know, placing yourself in a position of, hey, this is my experience, and offering that out there into the ether. People come across it and they relate to a certain part of it, maybe all of it, maybe none of it. But if you don't reach out and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is who I am, this is what's happened to me, and a lot of people don't want to do that. They just want to build straight builds and stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel somewhat comfortable doing short stories, revealing little bits of experiences that I've had, that I've found, you know, enlightening, or just happenings that have occurred.
Yeah.
So I think that's an important thing, you know, for me.
Big time. I mean, with me and Brett talk about this quite a lot, because we both have the kind of a desire to tell stories in our videos, and I think the people that I enjoy watching the stuff, you know, all you guys, it's because it's you that I'm watching. It's the person, it's the personality. So if you can tell stories, if you can tell a joke, if you can make me smile, make me laugh, that's what's going to make me interested in the things you're making. You know, I can very rarely kind of watch something where it's just footage of somebody making something. If you can bring your personality into it, that'll bring it to life for me, and that'll really make a connection. Because we're people, right? You want that, you want to make that connection. So storytelling is huge for me. Whether it's like literal stuff like The Matrix, or just little fun little kind of background stories.
The difference between you and Brett is, though, he actually is talking to somebody.
He is, yes. Yeah.
Good old Scully.
Good old Scully.
So now, let me ask you this: Did you enjoy it, being here?
Oh, dude, it was awesome. Yeah, this is a great show.
Well, great. I'm glad. Will you come back?
Yeah, definitely.
Dude, awesome, dude. Hit us with we have all your links down below.
Nice.
And if there's anything missing, let us know. You've been awesome. You know, hit us with anything that you'd like to share with the public at large. Well, after this is done, and unfortunately I've been so darn busy, but what we do is we write up and post on my website, and then we'll have an article with the Q&A of what we had here, but in short bursts, not a full-on, and it'll lead people later on back to your sites, JP's, mine, the show, and all that good stuff. But just hit us with anything you'd like to at the moment.
Yeah, man.
Links,
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Just stuff like the shout-outs. Yeah, as I say, right back to the beginning. Big thanks to Joe for kind of getting me into this this crazy world. Big thanks to you, Eloy, for having me on the show. Even if I did give you a bit of a scare earlier and not turning up. I think somebody you mentioned right at the start, actually, Randall. I've just started watching his channel and I'm really enjoying it. I think he's a really, really nice guy, and I think he's gonna do really well. Yeah, I love all you guys. I can't wait to meet you in May, Eloy. I hope at some point I can meet you, whether it's me coming over to the States or you coming over to the UK. It's just all about this community for me. I think there was kind of a little bit of a slip up last week with YouTube, and I think it kind of upset a lot of people and made people just basically get even closer and come together, and that's what's keeping me going through this and this just this crazy adventure. Yeah, I think that the Mad Maker Show is just a fantastic title for basically what we all do.
Thank you. JP?
With regards to YouTube, I don't give a damn.
Hey.
Apart from that, I'm just gonna plug something. I'm going to plug the Makers Media Network. Now, what the Makers Media Network is, it is like a community within a community. If you need, let's say for argument's sake, you want help with anything, advice with your channel, anything, creating, or you just want to rant in a hangout, there's help. There's makers at hand to help. There's friends there to help. It's exactly what I said. It's a small community within a community. So I'm sure Eloy will put links down in the description to where you can go and sign up. So you go over to Harnealmedia.com to sign up to that. And yeah, it's a good place to kind of hang out. There's a constant hangout link to. So if you want to come and hang out with us, you can do. But I'm part of it. Eloy's part of it. There's Chad's part of it from Mancrafting. There's a few people part of it. Nice. So yeah, it's definitely good to go and check out. Apart from that, I want to quickly mention the giveaway again on the podcast. That ends midnight, January 27th, Eastern Standard, to win a Heath Knuckles blank and a tub of Yorkshire grit. So yeah, that's what 2.5-3 days left ish. So apart from that, my YouTube channel is JP Woodwork. You can find all the rest of my social media links at jp-woodwork.com. The podcast website is makersinternationalpodcast.com. All sponsored by Harnealmedia, and that is it.
All right. So guys, have a great week. We'll catch you next time. Tuesdays, 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. Don't know what over there in the UK. What is it? Greater Greenwich, what?
1 o'clock GMT.
1 o'clock GMT. Catch you guys.
Greenwich Mean Time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good night, folks.
Cheers, guys.